Here we go. Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
You're listening to The Mean Geek, comics podcasting on the very ragged, raw, leading edge of friggin' civility.
Are you recording?
Sure.
You bastard. All right,
What are you talking about, bastard?
Yeah, webcomics that I enjoy would include Least I Can Do, Looking for Group, although I don't think that's as good as Least I Can Do. I do like Girl Genius, the Phil Folio one.
Yes, that's fun.
Although that's another thing that could speed up the storytelling a tad and not piss me off much.
Yeah, you think?
I do like Penny Arcade, Control Alt Delete.
Not so much as before.
I do enjoy
PvP.
PvP. I still read every day.
Oh, yeah.
And that guy is, barring Least I Can Do, who keeps hiring new people, PvP is the best evolution of art I have seen on any comic strip.
Right. He's really moved up a lot.
Yeah. And I also enjoy... Oh, God.
Wasn't something positive?
Something Positive I love, and No Doubt or Reasonable Doubt. It's from the same blind ferret as Sommer.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll have to find that one for you.
Yeah,
A lot of stuff I've just given up. It's an interesting genre, but they also die off so quickly.
Really easily. Like I was into this really ultra gamer geek one.
What's that one called?
Elf Only In.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of like, boop, I can't do my strip anymore, so I'll see you later. I'm like, well, you're a pain in the ass.
I mean, you used to be addicted to Sluggy Freelance.
Yes, I did. And then the story arcs started getting longer and longer and more adventuresome and far less funny. But, you know, what are you going to do? There was General Protection Fault I used to read.
No.
That was, that's a very computery geek one. And that started out very, very funny. And then, again, started getting earnest.
What was the one with the Living Dust Mite?
The what?
You had a book for it, Living Dust Mite, and it had the little paper clip come to life from the old computers.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm not making this up, for
No, not so much a dust mite, but that's user friendly.
There you go.
Yes, whose Iliad seems to be I don't read his forums, so when he said I'm taking time off, I have no idea why, but for like 3-4 weeks now, it's been repeats from.
Oh, you still read that one?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you'd moved on.
Until he took his hiatus, he was still funny for someone like me.
Yeah, I understood like one strip in 9, but hey.
Yeah, you know.
Wow, Windows is amazing. Ha ha ha. Yeah, okay, I don't get that.
So you know what's funny about this podcast?
Yeah, what's that?
And the previous podcast?
Was I involved in the previous?
Yes, you were.
Okay, because sometimes I'm confused. Well, there's all sorts of like side podcasts now. I'm like, I'll check, and suddenly it's like, watch as the Tech Jedi and Warhammer juggle their balls for 42 minutes. I'm like, when did that happen?
That's never happened.
Unlikely
ever.
But you have hidden podcasts that I don't know about. It's like there's secret meeting places.
You're always working.
I am always working. Fuck you.
If you didn't work so much, I wouldn't have needed Warhammer.
Oh, don't hurt the guy's feelings. You're just a reverend substitute.
You little hack. You scab.
You'll never be half the beard the Reverend is. And you can take that either way, folks. I'll pick on the Tech Jedi all day long and watch as he spits up on his own books.
So, this is episode 38.
38.
And age, the Tech Jedi, is 38.
And of course,
our last episode was 37.
And the
and
Reverend
the
Maddock is 37. Yes.
It's a weird little coincidence there. It's kind of funny. Will never happen again.
Yeah.
But
not if we don't record for like another year and then it's like, hey, you know what's in it? This is number 39.
That would be kind of silly.
It's sad, but
It would also lose me advertising. Wait, I don't have advertising revenue.
and why is
Never
that,
mind.
people?
Yeah, why don't you fucking come by? You know, we work really hard.
No, we don't.
We almost. All right, forget it.
You've worked really
So-
hard, at least like twice. I show up and say funny shit, make fun of you, and fucking take a nap,
So,
including the infamous missing podcast.
yes, the the 32 that doesn't exist.
Because you failed to record it, and
The
I fell
Phantom
asleep during it.
Podcast. We're drinking some Sam Adams tonight, and we're watching Dark Knight, which is my copy. Thank
Yes,
you
it
very
is.
much.
Yep. I don't own it for some ungodly reason.
So, let's get some books done.
All right, yeah, because homework, good. Yeah, fuck you.
You get to read free fucking comics.
And I work my ass off for that. Go.
Not specifically for that.
No, pull one of the ones that you bought for me out of the pile. Don't jump with the good shit first. No.
You want to do that now?
Go ahead, drag one of them out. What? Drag one that you threw in
Drag-
there just to piss me off.
One of the ones just to fuck with you. Let's start with the first one.
All right, what's that?
The Unknowns, #1.
All right, how much did you pay for this little fucking gem?
$2.50.
$2.50 to annoy the ever-loving crap out of me.
Yes.
A comic book based on the adventures of a character based on a supermodel.
Yes. Now, to be totally pointless, she is incredibly smoking hot.
They have
To be practical and pragmatic, the story blew dog.
Do you remember Alley Cat, the Marvel book?
Yes, I do.
Because you own it somewhere.
Yes, I do. And don't think I don't hate you for that. Because I know it came with your shit.
Because I didn't know what it was.
Ugh. I enjoy looking at women as much as any other hetero man, but
Cartoons are not women, which is my
Yes.
first point here, okay? I wonder if there's like a cartoony to join the fuzzy and the... What I decided was
I hope
the
not. I think
robot techies.
I think those are general cosplay kids.
Ugh.
Just the general ones. Because
You know, I hate to assume that every cosplay kid is a closet freak. I mean, I'm sure some of them just like... I mean, furries, yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
My hatred of furries knows no bounds. And if you're sitting there like, I'd totally advertise on your podcast, except for I'm currently wearing a Fozzie the Bear outfit while banging my girlfriend, who's dressed in a gonzo costume, which only barely qualifies as a furry because we're not sure if he's an animal. He's actually an alien, as proved in the last Muppets film, Muppets in Space. Anyway.
they visit his home planet?
No, they.
I'm sure there's somebody out there
The
who
other
doesn't know.
gonzos or other greats or whatever the heck they're called visit Earth.
Weirdos.
Yeah.
Other weirdos.
Is that really the planet, the alien?
Well, I
race?
mean, it's what they've always... No, I mean, that's what they've always called him.
Well, that's 'cause
I
you
mean,
didn't know what
if
he
you
was.
look at- If you've watched Muppet Babies, you're a weirdo. That's right.
Dude, I'm an
Gonzo
adult.
the
I do not
weirdo.
watch Muppet Babies.
I've watched Muppet Babies. Not lately.
All right, which is getting away from the fact that, the whole furry bashing thing, which is where I live. Yeah, you know what? I don't want your advertising dollar. Take your gonzo butt banging action and go, because I have no interest. Actually,
I
to be
can't
fair,
use that as the title, man.
I got to be
That
honest.
thing's
Like,
going to be out in public.
you
Although
know,
I'd love to use that as the title. Gonzo butt banging
I actually feel kind of
action.
bad about that because I'm not implying that all furries are gay. I have no knowledge about furries whatsoever. But I will say that I just kind of assumed it'd be easier to put the hole in the butt of the costume is why I was going there. So let me amend that rather than be insulting.
Episode by episode, we just keep devolving further and further into stranger and more twisted ways of mentioning genitalia.
I'm okay with that.
Are you?
Well, as long as it's, furries. Look, I bash furries, all right? I'll have a T-shirt made.
You got to wear it to the show.
If I haven't made
And what
the time.
show is that?
Connecticut or
the
Connecticut
Southern Connecticut Comic Con.
I do. They all kind of sound. It's hard to say these things.
Connecticut and Comic Con with 2 N's, the former postal code for Connecticut, are 2 separate shows entirely.
Oh, there is a Connecticut.
Yes.
Ah.
Connecticut is more anime, though.
And you just came from a con, did you not?
Well, it was a mid-sized show, not really a con. But it was good. I mean, it was okay. I found I found something that and my older sister have been searching for many, 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 many years.
I'm going to just
that
stop myself because the number of things I could say that are horrible is legion.
When we were, very young in the single digits, we watched a Japanese sci-fi action show called Johnny Sacco and His Flying Robot.
What the fuck is Johnny Sacco and His Flying Robot?
Johnny Sacco and His Flying Robot is a sci-fi Japanese adventure TV show very much along the lines of Ultraman, except that, well, let's back up.
What the fuck is Ultraman?
That's
you gotta remember who you're talking to. This is not my field.
Ultraman followed the adventures of an alien policeman 70 feet tall.
Come on.
Who shares a body with a member of the Science Patrol. Because while Ultraman was chasing an intergalactic criminal monster, he crashed into the Science Patrolman's ship and killed him. So he resurrected him and bonded with him. So now, whenever there's trouble, Hayato pulls out the beta capsule. Doink!
And becomes
Which looks
Ultraman.
like a fashionable flashlight. And becomes Ultraman!
The 70-foot
Here
tall.
he comes from the sky.
Now,
Watch our hero fly.
you're actually
And a
reciting
super
the theme
jetty
song, aren't you?
comes from a million miles away.
Good God.
From a distant planet land comes the hero, Ultraman.
This is what I missed by actually reading. Okay. Good Lord.
I was 5,
Look,
man.
I don't know. For all I knew, you watched it last week. I know nothing about Ultraman.
No, my nephews have it right now. I can't watch it last week.
Dear God.
Couldn't have watched it last week. So anyway.
How does a 70-foot tall police officer do like undercover work?
Well, no, he's more of the action adventure superhero.
Punch a monster in the nose kind of. So
Yes.
there's no Ultraman CSI.
No, there's no CSI.
Because that I would watch
No, you wouldn't.
once.
Mm.
All right, so getting
So
back
anyway,
to Johnny Sacco, which I
is-
kind of think you're making up.
No, I'll show you the discs. I won't make you watch them, but I will show them to you. So, there's these two organizations. Unicorn, the worldwide SHIELD equivalent.
Oh, okay.
And they go against the Gargoyle Gang, led by Spider.
You've got to be making
I am
this
not
up.
making this up. Led by Spider, and all of them wear very paramilitaristic uniforms. The bad guys, that is. Wraparound sunglasses and black berets with a little skull on the front.
Because gargoyles and skulls go hand in hand.
Yeah, well, So, except, Spider, he wears big-ass aviator glasses that cover most of his face.
Right.
And a big old Nazi dress uniform hat.
Oh, dear Lord.
So there was this scientist who was making a giant robot under the auspices of the Gargoyle Gang.
Right.
He was pressed into service. He didn't want to do it. But, the standard, we'll kill you and or your family if you don't make us this giant robot to take over the world.
Sure.
But, it's pretty common. That's a common theme. Get the scientist to do something against his will. But then the unicorn guy is trying to find where they're hiding this giant robot. And sure enough, he finds it. But tagging along with him is little Johnny Sacco, 10-year-old super spy prodigy.
With the last name of Sacco.
Sacco. S-O-K-K-O. So the thing is,
Yeah.
when the giant robot's activated,
Right.
whoever's going to control him, their voice is imprinted on his circuits and no one else can control him.
Oh.
But only in the first moments of activation. So the doctor was killed while showing Johnny the little watch that flips open into a microphone and controls the robot. So when the doctor was killed, an explosion happens, the robot's activated, Johnny goes, "Ah, doctor!" The robot hears the voice for the first time. Johnny now controls the robot.
And you've been looking for, as opposed to avoiding this like the plague, you've been hunting this down for 20 years.
Upon occasion, I have gone into the whole childhood nostalgia thing. It doesn't happen frequently, and it usually has bad results.
I gotta be honest, a man talking about comics at 38 probably lives in the childhood nostalgia thing, if you make an argument
I
for
don't
that.
normally seek that shit out. Like, I do not have the full multi-disc box set of Super Friends. I liked it when I was 8. I saw it again when I was 15, and I'm like, I don't need that anymore.
Yeah, but
you see what I'm saying?
Most childhood things get passed on. Like there's a maintenance level, and of course, as comic geeks, fiends, whatever you choose, we're on the lower end of that, or the higher end, of sentimentality,
depending on your perspective.
There is an argument that I don't think there's anybody who's completely interested in everything from their childhood.
Oh no, goodness no.
I mean, how many 38-year guys are out there going, I need to find one more Scooby-Doo episode and I'll have the complete set.
There's got to be a couple, but not many.
Yeah. Things are going to wash by. Most girls might want one My Little Pony. They don't want every single one, and they certainly don't want every, Puffaloff or Hairpin or that Bear Beef, Fuzzywig Junior crap.
Well, you just throwing stuff out there and hoping it fits.
The 80s was a horrible time for licensing and pillows that turned into stuffed animals and bears and
Johnny Sacco, Ultraman, and this other giant robot show based on a family of giant robots.
You mean giant robots that bang?
No, just a family of giant robots.
Well,
they're manufactured. How are they? They're not going to bang. They're not.
Well, then they're not a family,
They were manufactured together, but anyway, I can't even remember what that is. It would be interesting to see that one again. I wouldn't buy it as a big box set, but frankly, I bought this box set on the discount bootleg table. And frighteningly enough, it was right next to all the really bad horror porn parodies.
Oh, good.
Like Repenetrator.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You didn't know that? Like everyone else does, that porn loves to parody.
This I did know.
Well, they like to do it with horror as well.
Ew.
Yeah. Zombies getting blowjobs.
Come on.
Serious.
Good God. I am the most naive fucking human being. It never even occurred to me that was an option.
Unless you're specifically looking, that's a very, very, of all the niche markets in the geek universe, you're not going to get more niche than that.
Zombie porn has to be pretty low on the fucking overall totem pole.
Even I am not going to watch zombie porn. Although,
No, dude. Leave the although at home for this.
I found it amusing looking over those titles. And I can only remember one right now, but Repenetrator for Reanimator.
Ah, okay. Because I didn't even really know what movie you were talking about. Like, Repenetrator just sounds like porn, dude. Wow, zombie porn.
Yes,
I can't think of anything I want to watch. Oh, no, sorry. There's one. 2 Girls in a Cup I want to watch less.
Ugh. That's enough of that right there.
You've seen that, haven't you?
No. I have not seen 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Oh, see, I don't even get the title right.
I've seen reaction videos to it.
You see the Kermit the Frog
Which is the dumbest thing ever. You ever see one of those reaction videos?
Yeah, no. Dude, come on.
Stupid. Oh, let's watch as somebody makes disgusted faces. That's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, you got a point. Wow, zombie porn. That's going to fucking haunt me.
If those things had been like $5 instead of 20,
dude, just say no. No.
So you hated the unknowns.
No. I apologize to the overall populace for my zombie walking, zombie blowjob noise. I can virtually guarantee you won't hear that again. All right, so get away, shoot. What the hell is wrong with you?
Beer.
Oh, great, zombie beer wanting noises.
So you hated the unknowns.
Oh, come on. Badly written. iffily drawn. It wasn't horrible. It
Yeah.
wasn't particularly mind-blowing with the most cliche characters.
It was like somebody...
the mysterious British dude, the hot model chick who is somehow a super killer psychopath, some
Yeah.
sort of psychic, It couldn't be cornier if it were friggin' vegetables.
It looked like... You know what the art looked like to me? It looked like
Kyle
somebody...
Hotz?
Who? Carl Potts.
Kyle Hotz.
No, I have no idea who that is.
The Hood miniseries.
Okay, yeah.
The Agency, that one I gave you that you wanted to stab me.
Yeah. No, it reminded me of someone who had gotten Photoshop and just discovered cell shading. You've seen cell shading.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what it made me think of. But really, the mysterious chick that... I mean... There are so many things in here we've seen so many other places done so much better.
Even if it wasn't done better, it wasn't done well here. It doesn't matter, I looked at this idea and thought I could do it better. Well, you didn't.
You got nowhere with it, pal. All right, now let's go on to something I'm pretty sure you did enjoy.
Which is?
Judd Winnick's Green Arrow: Road to Jericho.
Dude, I am actually wholeheartedly annoyed that a guy that I saw in the real world and created Barry Ween, boy genius, writes a book that I totally enjoy. It bothers me.
Come on.
No, I'm serious. Like,
It's not that bad.
I remember the real world, and I remember that, dude, like, I want to be a cartoonist. Dude, you're on the real world. Fuck off. He's really goddamn good.
He is.
And I read an issue of Barry Ween, and I'll never do that again. But he's still really goddamn good.
He knows what he's doing with Green Arrow. It's too bad he's not on it anymore.
It is an excellent book.
I think maybe the sequestering on the island lasted just a little too long, though.
The problem with this graphic is that I have not read the entire... Like, I need to start picking up his entire run on it and follow it from the beginning.
Well, yeah, this is 9.
So
So we are coming in kind of late with this one. But it was
have-
a sale.
Yeah.
And I knew I liked Judd Winnick's
Yeah, because
Green Arrow.
I picked up a graphic a while back that we really enjoyed.
Yeah. So, you got to take your chance that when you see something at what appears to be a good value, someone you enjoy, you got to nab it when you can.
Absolutely. And so far, I have totally enjoyed
Gaps be
everything I've
damned.
read by him on it.
The red Brick, though. You like Brick? I'm a big fan of Brick.
I think Brick
actually.
is an interesting villain. I think he's one of the more interesting characters to show up recently. In that, here we have a criminal who wants to be a criminal. Not a supervillain, not a mastermind.
Just a plain old,
Just happens to be made of brick with Rasta brick haircut.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, his look is
that's
horrible.
kind of weird.
But
I mean, he's vaguely reminiscent of Ben Grimm, but you can't not be being a guy named Brick. I mean,
wouldn't
it's
you?
just-
Yeah,
just-
Danny.
What else are you
Brickwell,
gonna do?
Come on, really? I'm a brick guy named Danny Brickwell. Yeah, wouldn't you like him to be named like Bob Granite and look like Brick? Like that would just amuse me so much more. It's just a little thing like that.
Bob Granite. They had a lot of guest appearances in this,
Yes, a lot of people.
and the little twist with the the guy that
And
was
we're
not
reading already, folks.
that was not the vice mayor, but ended up being mayor because of the
Oh, yeah.
machinations of the retirement.
Yeah, the political stuff was well done too.
Yeah.
It's just a well-written book.
I was quite happy with it. Can't wait to get more.
So it's over, but we totally endorse Judd Winnick's Green Arrow. Yay us. Next up.
Very different. Brian Wood, David Jean-Felice.
This is why I don't try pronouncing this stuff.
I actually kind of have fun doing it because
Yeah.
when I do get it, he sounds proper. Jean-Felice. John Felice. I don't know. I don't give a shit. So, Northlanders. Book 1, Sven the Returned.
Is this a miniseries? Or is this a
don't
series?
know. I don't know.
Because book 1 implies more, and this book implies done.
Yeah, at the end of this 8 issues, which was a very good bargain for the price.
Well, what did you pay for it?
This was $9.99.
Where'd you find that?
The unfortunately named Newbury Comics in the Manchester Mall.
Huh.
Because they've got a corner for comic books.
Well, it's not actually a comic store. It's a music store primarily.
Yeah.
I used to visit up in Boston. It's actually a great store.
I love their selection of DVDs. I'm not sure I like their price, because used seasons of anything should not still be $55.
Yeah, not in this market.
That's improper.
No,
But-
I mean, maybe Rome or some HBO Uber thing, but
with a really good box that's made out of actual fucking wood or something like that. $55, okay, because you originally asked me for fucking $89. But
Friends should not be running $55.
no, Battlestar Galactica, when you've only got a half a season per box, should not be $39.
Yeah, there's a huge market for that though. Like that is a series I've not seen marked down a lot.
No, not yet. I mean, it is relatively new still, but
Well, geek culture knows it's people price differently now.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is when a geek wants something
He'll pay damn near anything.
through
Hence,
the
Star Wars
fucking
original
nose.
packaging action figures,
Yes.
which still boggles my mind.
Why wouldn't you want them out of the box?
You know what? Who was sitting there going, "Yeah, I like Boba Fett more than anything else on the planet, but why wouldn't I want to save this so I can sell it when I'm 50?" You know what? I didn't play with that kid when I was. It's like, Bob, you're a douche. I'm sorry your name is Bob Granite and all, but dude, fuck off.
And that's a part of the culture that's almost to completion transitioning from we enjoyed it, it was a product, we got our fun out of it, let's call it even, move on to something else. Now it's just massive collections.
Yeah, there's no value to anything anymore because it's made to be valued.
Way overproduce it. They're looking to get a secondary market return on it, and
they also
that can't happen with
and
volume.
they underproduce certain things, so they're immediately collectible.
To artificially inflate that shit. Which irritates the fuck out of me. Like, you can only get the new Ki Mundi at Target. I'm not traveling all the fuck way out to Waterford to get one action figure just because I can't get it somewhere else.
I'm not going next door to get an action figure, but therein we lie differently.
Well, I mean, if it was in town, I'd make the effort, but I'm... No, not going to happen.
No, I mean, but if you still collected stuff, it'd be different. Like, eventually, the one thing you do want to do, as you've told me, is someday have really nice versions of each Batman and Batman villain.
Yes.
So, sooner or later you're going to have to start, picking some of them up.
I've begun that with my recently acquired Hush Jim Lee version Batman.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, not that recently, before Christmas.
No, but
actually
recent
before
enough.
Thanksgiving. But no, that's a very nice piece.
So that's your official Batman of the set.
Yep.
So next will be your official Joker.
Yep. I find a really good. If I could get the whole Hush series at a good price, bink, I'm there. Especially Poison Ivy.
Yeah, I like how you pretend you're kidding, that you're perverted about made up comic book characters and tight leather, and yet you're not. That. Fans, he's lying to you with his fake voices.
I could be.
All right, so getting back to
Northlanders.
Jinx, buy me a Coke.
Yeah, whatever. So we start with this guy who was essentially a prince, right? And he runs off to Constantinople.
Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Well, it's Istanbul now, because you can't go back to Constantinople. Ding. Nobody gets that.
Why'd Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks. All right, now that we've referenced They Might Be Giants, let's move on.
He finds out through a ship he's about to hijack that things are...
That was coming to find him,
Yeah,
and he still hijacked.
He still sacked it like any good Viking.
Despite not
Things
being a
have
Viking.
changed at home. No, he's totally a Viking.
His dad has died, and his uncle has ripped the territory from his cold, dead hands. Very Hamlet-like.
Yes. So now he's got to go back to reclaim it, but he's got absolutely no backing whatsoever.
Because he's kind of a douche.
A little bit, yeah. Well, he's a Viking that left. He's a.
What did you think of this book?
Do you not have douchey Vikings?
That might be a job requirement. I'm not really up in my Viking. I know that Hagar seemed very nice.
I had very, very minor, very transient problems with a little bit of the language.
It was a little too modern for you.
Yeah.
Now, what made you buy this? Because Vikings does not immediately scream Tech Jedi.
Sure it does. I like Vikings.
What's the last thing you liked with a Viking in it?
Cowboy Ninja Viking.
You didn't even
I know that doesn't count either. So no, I got Viking, which was another Image book, oversized Golden Age.
I never read that one.
But I only got 2 and 3, so I never brought them around because I was lost enough with only 2 and 3, so I wasn't going to force you to be lost as well.
Well, I appreciate that.
There's nothing wrong with Vikings.
Okay.
They're not my number one thing.
I just don't normally, like, if you said Reverend Mad Dog, like Mike Kings, no one's like, oh yeah, what a shock. They're like, hey, really? Of course he does, because pirates were all taken that day. Vikings don't jump out, says ninjas, yes.
Well, yeah.
You got preferences, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, preferences aren't, don't have to generate exclusivity.
No, that's true.
I watch Star Trek. I'm not a huge fan, but what?
You're kind of a huge fan. I mean, not compared to Trekkies, which you are not.
I'm a good size fan.
Horrible. Accent poor.
I'm never going to use what? I'm never going to buy a uniform. But if I could find a cheap stormtrooper armor, I'm down with that.
And again, we're very different people.
It's all balanced out.
Would you read a second Northlanders book based on this?
I absolutely would.
Solid read, good writing,
yes.
Weird dialogue, good art, and sickly violent.
Yes, it was very sickly violent. I was quite happy with it.
Oh, you know what I don't associate
Every once in a
with
while,
Vikings?
you got to go for the little Valaco Melisette with the ultra violence and the old in out.
Because I don't associate with Vikings because you absolutely hated that book that Kelly Jones was doing.
Which one was that?
Where the modern day newspaper was trying to track down the modern day Viking that was riding around killing people.
I have no idea what
you gave
you're
them to
talking
you
about.
had like 1 and 2 you gave them to me and I can't remember the name. It's going to drive me nuts.
They were comic books or novels?
Mm-hmm. Comic books.
They were?
Kelly Jones started it right after he did Batman.
Well, that would have been in the 90s.
And you hated it. It might have been an Image book. Or not Image, but Vertigo.
Yeah.
Ringing a kind of a bell now. Yeah.
Almost.
Kids, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Or you could tell us if you know the answer.
Yes,
to the...
go ahead. Tell us. We'd love to hear from you. Anyway, so a really, really fun 2-issue run of Power Girl.
Now, we missed an issue somewhere in there, or at least I did. You probably read it.
6 was kind of mediocre.
That was with the 3 space girls floating around. Like, I remember the start, and I never read the end. And I'm not heartbroken or anything, but I definitely did not finish that story.
It was acceptable, but it really didn't push me over to laughing edge. I kind of grinned, but I never laughed reading it. So I laughed my ass off reading these.
Now, what is the name of this guy?
Vartox of Valoron.
And he's real. He's not made up for this. Well, he's real in the sense that
pre-crisis real. This is his.
Well, that is where I live. The Turner D century.
This is his first appearance since the crisis.
Oh wow!
25 years ago, and it's understandable why it took him 25 years and Amanda Conner and Graham Palmiotti to bring him back.
This was a fun read. This was the first Power Girl storyline I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very over the top. It's not a subtle book.
No.
But I did totally enjoy.
He's an intergalactic lounge lizard.
Yep.
How do you not like that?
No, it was funny. It was well done. I thought the characters were true. Intergalactic Lounge Lizards. Well, wait and see. If nothing tops it, there you go. The major problem I have with Power Girl as a book is I still don't have a good feel for Power Girl as a character.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, I mean, and then she started finding...
see where you have that.
She started finding him attractive, but then it was very bizarre, her evolution. They don't build her as a character very much.
No, because I think for this book, they're depending more on people having read tremendous runs of JSA.
Possibly, even without that, though, like she's grumpy with a huge chest. Like, that's the entire...
Yeah, which is kind of weird, because she was pretty serious in JSA, and she was an outright bitch in JLI. She was mean and grumpy, and
yeah, somebody had to be.
She'd have kicked the living fuck out of Blue and Gold in a second.
Or us.
Well, yeah,
the modern day equivalent.
Pretty much, yeah. So wait, so what's that make who?
You can be Booster.
What if I'm the science guy? Why wouldn't I be Ted?
Because you actually like the Booster Gold book, and you want to be from the future and get more women.
All right, fair enough. I'm Booster Gold. You're Ted Cord.
All right, so
which actually, now that I think of it, does make me happier, because you lack the back of a head now.
Yeah. I came back from the dead like 3 months ago or some dumb shit. All right. But yeah, I think that storyline would be a better starting off point than the previous one. But I still am not fully sold on Power Girl. It needs to go somewhere with her character. Like, one of my favorite comedy books of all time. Well, we know I love Howard the Duck, but Major Bummer builds. So far, this book has had event after event in 2-issue arcs.
Yeah.
With no build.
Yeah, she's spent no time with her company, no time with her supporting cast, a disastrous night out with Terra, and that's it.
It's just, it has not... I think it's funny in parts, and I really enjoyed these 2 issues, but if it doesn't improve, it's not a good book.
Yeah, they do need a bit more structure and a direction.
And they need to make her a character.
Yeah.
As opposed to a caricature. And yes, that was very sly of me. Thank you for pointing that out, fans. She's been.
That was pretty funny.
That's what I do. All right, what do you got next?
I love the idea that Sherlock Holmes is going after zombies.
I love this book.
Yeah.
No, totally enjoyed.
Yeah.
Will buy a graphic when it comes out.
I was figuring you liked it. You mentioned that you were intrigued by the first one, but I didn't really know if you'd keep digging it and then really develop an enjoyment for it.
It's somewhere between... If I had to put a finger on it, what was that Mark Waid written Sherlock Holmes ripoff book that we both really enjoyed?
Ruse.
It's somewhere between Ruse and Zombie World. Dark Horse attempt.
Yes.
I think it was Dark Horse.
Almost certainly, yeah.
But it's somewhere in between those, and it's just a nice little niche book. I think as a miniseries is a treat, it would be a horrible regular series.
Yeah, that couldn't go on forever.
But it's just clever. They write Sherlock Holmes well. Oh, I just saw Sherlock Holmes the movie, speaking of which.
Yeah, and you said you dig the hell out of it, right?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I had a very hard time as a huge Sherlock Holmes fan separating the movie from the source material.
Right.
So that was challenging. But definitely worth seeing.
And from Wildstorm. Of all places.
Hey, good comes from anywhere, and I've always endorsed... I mean, I was willing to buy Wildcats when Travis Charest was doing the art and James Robinson was writing because it was good.
I found out that that's Travis Charest.
Hey, again, you're the pronunciation guide guy. But good is good. I'll go anywhere. Yeah. I will follow people to places I don't want to go. For example, Shaken.
Oh, come on, you love Shaken.
I do, but that guy goes to some weird spots.
He does.
Well, it's a comic. Holy
Nazi
shit,
sex
she's
pots.
naked. Why does that cat have hands? You know?
Brazilian Nazi Sexpots.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's the title.
That's a good title. Brazilian Nazi Sexpots.
I love how you hunt titles during the entire episode.
You got to stand out somehow, don't you? You got to
Yep.
look for opportunities. That cat is going to bust its damn head open.
Cats are dumb.
They are. And I don't want to hear from cat people saying, but you can train them to go to the toilet.
You can train 2-year-olds to go to the toilet. They'll
train
still
a
lick
spastic to go to the toilet. That doesn't... And speaking of Wade, who did such a good job on Ruse.
And
which
did. Great book.
I'm still trying, with Jackson Geis,
Yeah.
I'm still trying to hunt down the rest of them.
What, the
It
non-Wade
ain't
ones?
easy.
The non-Wade ones?
No, he went the whole run. There was only like 17.
Oh, Geis left.
Yeah.
I stopped when Geis left.
I wish I had the whole run, but the companion book to Irredeemable, Incorruptible.
I am going to hold judgment. And what I mean by that is that in no way is this a bad book.
Yes.
You know, when I say hold judgment, I want to see if it's going to be great or interesting. Like, it's a clever concept, the villain who becomes a hero because the heroes become the villain.
Right.
But it's also, you know, like cookie cutter in a sense.
But, yeah, I mean, it becomes an obvious companion when you think about it for half a second.
And then he's driving around with his jailbait sidekick.
which I can't convince Warhammer is a bad idea.
and a doubting cop. It's just, you know, the stereotypicalness of it is out there. But I want to see where they go with it, so I have to give him credit for that.
Yes, I mean, as little as they've shown, I do semi-admire his willingness to say, you know what, I've done things that are greedy and selfish, but this guy's way too fucking far, and if he's gonna be opposed at all, it's gonna have to be me, so I gotta fucking step up.
Yeah, but he's not stepping up against him, he's stepping up in general. And my other issue with this, and I guess part of my problem is that Irredeemable is such a cool concept.
Yeah.
And this is such a side concept.
Yeah. It's not quite...
It's like if Brubaker was doing Criminal and then decided to do kind of crappy. You know, like, I'm not really a criminal, but, you know, if you left $20 out, I might take that. Plus, the other thing with Incorruptible that kind of annoys me is that the lead is now irritatingly the opposite.
Yeah, he went to excessive lengths.
Like, I don't mind that he doesn't bang minors anymore. Like, that's not going to lose me a lot of sleep. But really, I stole all these so I can't drive them. Dude.
Yeah, that's too far. I mean, you're already in possession. Either give them back or fucking use them.
All this money is no longer mine. You know, fine, give it back. But come on, really?
Some people truly...
The Irredeemable car is a 57 Nova that has no gas.
57 Nova. I had a 72 Nova.
Yeah. By the way, anybody racing going, 57 did not have a Nova that year. I don't care. Like, haven't you listened to me by now? I'm not even sure what day it is.
That is excessive. It is a little too far.
Yeah, so, but then I'm curious why he's that way. Like, what changed to him that suddenly everything had to be morally perfect?
Well, I doubt he was black and white when he was a villain, but there are people in the universe that are as black and white as you can get.
There really aren't. They're just black and white, obviously. Like, no one, at the end of the day, everybody's moral code is suspect to somebody else's moral code.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that...
But when they act within their own moral code, they get very black and white.
Well, fair. But only with it, you know, no one ever matches. So there's always an area of debate. And this guy seems to want to invite no debate, which is only intriguing because before this, he was a scumbag.
Yeah.
But it's a one note. You can't hang with perfect people.
Now, first off, they'd be irritated.
They are.
And then, how are you going to have fun?
Yeah, and that's the question, is how is this book going to be fun if he's that perfect all the time? So, I am holding judgment.
Be right back. Which, of course, leads us straight into Irredeemable. Number 9. It's been 9 fucking issues already.
And dark as hell.
It's getting worse all the time in that respect.
As a read, phenomenal.
Yes. Ugh.
One of my favorite books out there right now.
You get a little more backstory, which isn't too bad. He gets a little, he introduces the team he was part of, to the public, that is.
Yep.
So, that's not a bad thing. And
the main thing that happens in this book is obviously that Scylla and Charybdis' powers
Charybdis.
Whatever.
Charybdis.
Powers were being shared between the two of them, so that now all he's done by killing one is creating a more powerful.
Right. Which, in most other stories where you've seen things like that, and it's happened, the survivor usually has nothing to work with after that. Unless, of course, you're talking about The One with Jet Li. Where the guy specifically goes out and kills his duplicates he's been sharing power
Didn't
with.
I hate that movie?
And absorbs it. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing where they're swinging motorcycles at each other?
Yes.
Yeah, I hate that movie. Oh, it did have Kylie Gugino, and...
Ta-da. Salute to the titties.
Well, I was just going to say it's a Kylie Gugino, but, if you want to break it down to that low caliber...
I mean, I'm a detail guy.
You're a rat bastard is what you are. No, I can't speak highly enough about Irredeemable. It's a phenomenal book. It's well written. It's well drawn. It pulls you right in and keeps moving. And it's moving at a nice pace.
Yes.
Like, you have no clue what's going on, but at the same time, it's not like they're filler.
There's been enough moments.
It's not like, say, Thor, where it's like, really do something.
Yeah, the whole uncompressed storytelling thing has gotten on my nerves.
What do you mean?
Well, just for example's sake, and I don't want to get too deep into this.
Right.
But Secret Invasion was 8 fucking issues. They spent 7 of them in like a day and a half in the Savage Line. And then the end of the last issue, Norman appears out of nowhere to end the story. So you got a bunch of talking and a teeny bit of action over all these issues and no true advancement to any of it.
Well, part of that, however, and I'm not defending it because obviously if you're going to read an 8-issue miniseries, you'd like it to build better than that did. But is that you weren't reading the Norman Osborn Thunderbolt book.
No, it wasn't.
Which I don't blame. I'm not saying, why weren't you reading Thunderbolts, TechJedi, you dumb bastard? Because it's been awesome since day one. Because it hasn't.
No, I read the first 5 when they came out originally. And I'm like,
I made 2.
I don't care about this.
Like, really? The Fixer? And I'm done.
Of all people? Really?
Screaming Mimi has a starring role in this lump of...
No. Unacceptable.
Good Bagwell art, though.
Yes.
But anyway, point being, so that particular miniseries was so drawn into other storylines that if you were skipping one of the books that was involved, it did hurt the overall. And I kind of respect that. I don't think that's preferable.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to have an event type thing, you want it to be tight knit. But
and to be fair, Secret Invasion didn't involve 45,000 books. There were several. There were quite a few that were involved, but it was readable. But Thunderbolts was definitely one that wasn't on your radar.
Nope.
And hurt you in terms of that, which is annoying.
Yeah.
Like, you know that Spider-Man's going to be involved without reading it, but you really didn't know Thunderbolts was showing up in that till you got to the end and it's like, oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
If I've been reading Thunderbolts all along, I'd have all sorts of interesting clues and shit.
But no.
Yeah.
Not in this case.
All right, what do we got next?
Speaking of disappointing things.
Oh.
Yes. I really dislike the idea that I dislike a Bendis book. But Ultimate Spider-Man, I am not the target market for.
It is not moving at a pace that I find intriguing. I'm not
bad
loving
either.
the younger aspect of it. I really enjoyed what I've read of his previous run. Maybe I just need to finish that off go back, fill that out, and then come to this one in graphics again, but on a book-by-book basis.
Because we haven't gone through past 50 or so. And
no, and I have the graphics I have are very random, and that's all we've read. But to be fair, you weren't a huge fan of the first 2 graphics of Ultimate Spider-Man.
No, it was kind of
It was a starting point, and if this is a starting point, so be it. But I am not going to incorporate a lot more of my time into seeing where this is going.
No. I've got economic considerations just like everybody else does. So a 6-issue burst at the beginning is sufficient for me and Ultimate Spider-Man and Ma Parker's fucking boarding house
of super
wayward
teenagers,
superheroes.
Yeah. No, I might. You know what? Down the line, might look at a graphic or 2 of this and see where it went.
Yeah.
But on an issue by issue basis, I have to agree I'm not. But the target market for this is a great teenager book.
It up with a spoon.
And should be. It's just not me. I'm not knocking the book. Nope. The writing is solid. The character development is solid. It's just not something I'm dying to read.
Yeah.
And you're right. In this current economic climate, I get to pass on shit. And I'm choosing, disappointingly, to pass on that. But then again, if we hadn't started with graphics, and if I hadn't found a deal to get some of the later ones, which we really enjoyed, we would have passed on Ultimate.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Yeah, because the first 2 graphics, while fun, weren't blowing me away like the later issues were.
So, that leaves us with the next big event. Siege. I was kind of worried at first when I read all the previews.
Right.
I was like, alright, so Norman has taken it into his head that if he could have an event similar to the one that kicked off the Civil War, he could cement everyone's opinion of
or rebuild
the
not
wayward
even cement.
Heroes. Rebuild.
His own personal viewpoint has taken kind of a hit lately.
A little bit. So,
to repeat, the UFOs versus Volstagg really called out to you.
No, not really. So, in one sense, I can see, all right, he needs a big event so that he can react to it properly and get public opinion behind him again.
And also, of course, put the people he wants down on the wrong end of that event.
Right.
The point you were making earlier.
Yes. But his whole... The dialogue that he was trying to use to justify it, to specifically justify going after Asgard, seemed pretty weak. They're not supposed to be here.
Well, he's a mental patient. I mean, why do people keep forgetting this?
Why can't we have them here? They don't belong. Well, I mean, they've been ejected from their homes, and this is America where people like that go. They're not supposed to be here.
Like, literally, if you were drowning in the middle of the ocean and one boat had Norman Osborn reaching out to you, and the other one had a chimp, you'd pause.
I'd seriously consider the chimp.
Like, you might eat me, but you ain't fucking mentally ill. I mean...
Well, you wait till the chimp's sleeping, you drown him, and then you eat him.
You really put a lot of thought into killing a chimp, dude. What's that about?
No, it doesn't take a lot. Just a practical mind.
It doesn't take a lot to kill a chimp.
No, it doesn't take a lot.
And there's your title.
It does. So we can have the PETA people after us? That's a great idea.
Well, they're probably all furries anyway.
I'm certain of it. I've seen advertisements for PETA that looked like they came out of a damn furry convention.
I've never cared for their bread either.
Are you done?
No, I thought Siege was a nice starting point. I'm very curious as to where it's going to go. I am a huge Bendis fan.
A lot of people were disappointed by it.
Well, you know what? Because everyone thought, like, as soon as it started, the thing with event books, and Bendis does things differently, and that was, I guess, part of the point you were making with Secret Invasion, but he goes a little bit slower.
Yeah. And now he's only got 4 issues to work with.
Well,
which does not bother me, because economically, it works better, and I think it's probably going to force him into a tighter script to begin with.
But the other aspect is he's going to have a lot of things happen here that will affect the other books.
Yeah.
Not everything's going to get resolved in Siege. He doesn't do that.
Right.
when I don't have a problem with that if it's good writing.
Sure.
You know, it's... Then you look at another series I totally love, which is, of course, the whole Green Lantern, Black Lantern war right now. And you're like, okay, a little bit faster and less confused, you know. Phantom Stranger hasn't been a book since the mid-'70s, unless you include the Mignola miniseries. And yet somehow it's got an issue in this. Really? Suicide Squad just happens to pop up.
No. What do you think? What kind of book do you think we'd get if Jeff Johns and Brian Michael Bendis were cloned and spliced?
You know what? It would be a phenomenal read.
It would be the
that kept
greatest
getting
book in the universe.
every 3 issues. For 5 issues, nothing would happen, and then 12 things would happen in the 6th issue, and then for 5 issues.
And then they'd have a lot of character development on like 4 pages.
Yeah. But no, I thought Siege was a good starting off point. It built slowly.
The guys at the shop said that they really could not appreciate it, and I'm like, I'm just fine, man.
Because the thing, Bendis, it's not going to be a it's not going to be like a crisis book where everything changes in this book. Things are going to happen, and then there's going to be shock waves.
Right.
It's going to move at a different pace. I don't have an issue with that. But I also, you have to accept that that's the way they're going to move.
But the UFOs have been off the radar for so long.
With good reason.
Well, yeah, it's perfectly justifiable not to have them floating around. Yeah. But, I mean, on many message boards, people are like, how come we didn't know who the villains was? Because you don't know your fucking comics history, baby.
You know what? I'm not
Read
sure I'm
some
going to...
old Hulk stories.
I'm not going to bash a guy for not identifying the UFO. Like, there are guys out there... like Tarantula. If you don't know him, come on. Like, he's not my favorite. He's not a great villain, but he's been around long enough. He's done enough dumb Tarantula shit that he should at least get a name in there.
Yeah.
If you can't identify Kraven the Hunter, even though he's been dead for a while, you're pissing me off. All right, I don't know why both those guys had mustaches. That wasn't the goal. But the fact of the matter is, if you're like, who the UFO? If you didn't read like 8 issues of the Hulk at one point, you have no clue. I don't have an issue with that. I read those issues. I'm okay. I know. But come on, if you don't know who Piecemeal is...
And granted, I can't name the UFOs individually.
Like, N4... They're horrible. It's like, UFOs are like the Fantastic Four image. Like...
the image version of Fantastic Four?
Wretched.
But I did, in fact, know they were the UFOs.
Vector, I think, is one.
I never need to, read another UFO story.
Hey, you know what?
But I know who the fuck they are.
When Hogan and Fandral decide to avenge Volstagg by attacking the UFOs. I can't believe I had to say that.
So we're closing in on our normal period for a podcast. So I am desperate to hear the book I specifically got to hack you off.
And it did.
Magically. Grimm Fairy Tales Pinocchio, which promised me a hot blue chick on the outside and never fucking delivered on the inside.
You know what? If that's your only problem with this book, you and I are different people.
Oh, no. The problems are manifest. Turning Pinocchio into a serial killer. Really? Are you? That's where you're going with that?
The nose knows.
The nose don't know a goddamn thing. And it was a little disconcerting. It was a lot disconcerting here and there. If they had kept one art style, I wouldn't have minded so much. Because some of them looked like photoshopped pictures, and some of them were your basic line drawings with some decent coloring, and then some of them looked like CG and sepia tones. I didn't know what I was looking at most of the fucking time.
Well, art.
No.
Here's my thing. First off, the whole Grimm Fairy Tales, like, let's make basic children's story tales creepier. First off, they're really fucking creepy if you go back and look at them.
Yeah, you don't have to go far to get a creep factor out of those. I mean, a wolf, a transvestite wolf, who eats
and gets
old
hacked
ladies.
Open and people get pulled out. Like, creepy. Pinocchio, like, this was just it's done to be almost dirty. I guess for lack of a better term. I don't understand the appeal of this. I didn't think it worked that well. I did, however, really like that Fox and Cat were just guys wearing Fox and Cat masks as opposed to talking animals in frigging suits.
Right.
I thought that was at least clever.
Yes.
Pinocchio lying to the point where his nose ripped his father's heart out, I thought
that was just out of hand.
And the whole doing the blue fairy in Photoshop. Oh, and then, of course, the storyline where Pinocchio was a small boy who'd murdered his mother and his father was just figuring this out by reading the story of Pinocchio, the real version, was appallingly bad.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Dude, when you hugged him and you got a splinter, didn't that give you a clue, really?
And then, was it the blue fairy or his pseudo mom? I mean, who picked him up to take him to his next kill at the end?
I think that was supposed to be the blue fairy. It wasn't, the poor little cricket. Jiminy fucked up because he didn't make it out alive either.
Crushed. Although it was, I did enjoy the nose looking like a branch.
All right, a little more arty. I could see that.
That had a nice little twist on it.
All in all, I'm picking the Disney version over this. Is what it comes down to.
Yeah, as far as musicals go, Pinocchio's not a bad way to go versus, creepy fucking serial killer
puppet
Pinocchio guy thing.
Although, doesn't that sound like something that Fangoria would have 4 stars out for?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you're a subscriber to Fangoria, you're a creepy fuck.
Really?
Shit, yeah.
I've never read one.
I've flipped through a few Fangorias because
you'll read anything.
Almost. They were always next to Starlog on the rack.
So never read a Starlog either.
Well, in the 80s it was useful. Nowadays there's no point to the fucking thing.
All right. Well,
at any rate, there's our episode 38.
This is a Reverend reminding to bless you fuckers.
And enjoy your evening or something. I don't know.
Have more cake.
Yeah, eat cake.
It's good.
Cake. Yeah, let them eat cake. Whatever the fuck. Good night, pal.
Peace.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. You can find us on iTunes, Podcast Alley, Facebook, Comic Space, our own site, www.themeangeek.com. Subscribe to us through RSS, and most importantly, find us as a proud member on the Comics Podcast Network. Contact us directly through email at themeanergeek@gmail.com.